Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Right. Unmute yourself. I have no idea if this is working or what's going on. We're definitely having light flare, flange, and parrot interference. Right. Unmute yourself. I have no idea if this is working or what's going on. Shut that off. Hold on. The light flare, flange, and
Flanging
parrot
flare,
interference.
Quiet.
Right. Unmute yourself. I have no idea if this is working.
Quiet. There you go. This is what happens when your producer's home puking his head off. Hopefully it doesn't actually come off. That would be bad. Like, so I'm not sure. Oh, I know. Maybe I can get my phone and see if anybody's watching. And if you're not, it's okay, because this is how we ride the frequency, like improvisationally with your parrot screaming. Let's see what's happening here. Go to the YouTube. Oh no, don't drop the phone. We don't know if gravity works, do we? Yeah, we do. Um, how's everybody doing out there? Well, it looks like I'm live. That's good.
Screaming. Let's see.
Okay, let's maybe shut the volume off on her. But maybe we can share this link. Copy link, and we'll give it a second for people to come in. Come in. Uh-oh. This is one of the bad things about being neurodivergent and having a little of the ADHD. Live now. See if that works. Uh-oh. Come on, post it. Welcome to my crazy life. Next. Yeah, post. Do it. Post it. Post it. Oh God, when the bird starts making the old FaceTime noises, you know she's something crazy. That's usually what happens right before she draws blood. What a fabulous pet. It's nice to have pets that attack people. Okay, let's see what's going on with my custard. That sounded so wrong. But figure since Grizzly's not around, welcome to my kitchen. It's really messy right now because I've been busy building websites and doing other things. So here you go. What's happening? Uh-oh. Ow. That's what happens when you stick your fingers in boiling water. Okay. Uh-oh. Don't put your hair in the flames. Probably. Shh. Okay, you quiet you. You be quiet. Fire, stop it. Yeah, meowing birds. Okay. Wonderful. It doesn't really look very appetizing at the moment, but I'm really hoping that it tastes good. It probably will. I've been making these keto things. So I take like 5 eggs and 2 cups of milk. And then I put it in here I figured out how to, I had to unscrew the top from this pot lid so that it would lay flush, so that I could get this up out of the water. I don't know. I do, if I don't have stuff, I build it for myself, because when I want something, I want something. And since I'm the only one here, I better figure it out. It's good that I'm a handy gal. So yeah, so we'll let that cool. All right. We just had to come in the kitchen and let that, or not overcook that, because I don't know what would happen. It'd be very custardy. It would probably be more lumpy or something. Licorice. God. Yeah, I've got two very skittish birds. African grays are kind of skittish anyway, but like this one's particularly skittish. And then it doesn't help when the neighborhood hawk likes to land on land on the windowsill and terrorize my birds, because it's, thinking, wow, that's a cool looking pigeon. How do I get it? And then these guys don't really like that. They don't enjoy it for whatever reason. They're not into trauma-based training. Uh-oh. Speaking of trauma-based training, I've been listening to a bunch of interviews, super soldier stuff. Yeah. Woo. Some heavy stuff, you know? I have some questions about my childhood. Tell me about your childhood. Right now, we're not going to launch into a Thomas Dolby song, but yeah, I have questions. I have some questions about some stuff, you know. Uh-oh. Here, now we're back in the regular studio. Birds are in the other room. Lights. This is fun, you guys. You're here watching me set up the studio. Oh, my train wreck. But we'll definitely be back next week with some more normal, abnormal nonsense. Close that. Just want to thank everybody out there who has been responsive to and started following me on the Spotify, because the numbers seem to have jumped up, for which I am very grateful. So thanks to all of you guys, any of you guys who have jumped in on that, and giving that lady Liane Spotify a little follow. There's a gentleman by the name of Mike Wagner who's got a radio show who invited me on, so I'll be guesting or doing an interview or something with him on March 20th. And I'm looking forward to that and not destroying my equipment, because how you doing? Okay, let's see what this does. Oh, blinding. Oh, okay. Now we've got to move the hospital thing, desk, whatever. Ready? You guys are going for a ride. Hold on. Going for a ride now. I've got all my equipment down here. I was recording, I was tracking some guitars, so like maybe I didn't clean this up either. I really have not been in the mood to clean. Whoever is. Actually, I am sometimes. Sometimes I get in the mood to clean. Sometimes I find cleaning very therapeutic and something that allows me to get visible results for my work. Unlike when you start throwing music out there and wondering if anybody's going to listen, which isn't really why I did it in the first place. I was just doing it to make myself do something brave. I know how to do all this stuff for other people. It's like, at what point do you start doing things for yourself? Liane. And the answer was last October. when the silly little alien song popped into my head and said, hey, I need to come out now. Hey, it's kind of what it's like. The idea is kind of choose you. Wacky as that may sound. All right, let's see if we can flip the sound on a little better. Thanks for being patient with me. Like, again, I have no idea who's watching. Should probably go get my cell phone so I can see that. One speaker. All of these wires. Oh no. It's decapitated itself. Hold on. That's not what we're doing. This is more like a slapstick episode, I feel like. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, if anybody's there, and if you're not, again, that's fine. But if anybody has questions about anything and they want to pop it into the chat, assuming I can figure out how to access that without causing feedback. Oh my God. Fun, huh? Okay. So I don't know. Okay, here we go. My professional sound says it's working. Man. All right. Maybe I can try to turn on the YouTube and see if I can turn it on with no volume. All right. This is good. Now, if I can put this on, turn it on with no volume. Bye. Okay. All right. Cool. Oh, hi, Carius. I don't know. Am I saying that right? Okay. Here's the chat. Hello. Can you hear me okay? I'm glad you're trying to eat well. Blueberries and oatmeal. That's good. Giant size African gray ones. Started okay, that's the other thing that has to stop. I have got to stop like looking and squinting, and this is nuts. Um, hey, how you doing? That must be David Talker. Look at, isn't that fun? Look at my dirty hair, no makeup. It's not what celebrities are supposed to do. But it's what real people do. Like really, I'm not tripping. Everybody's like, you need to put makeup on, you need to do your hair. And I'm like, really? I just need to know who I am and be comfortable in my own skin, whether it's got makeup on it or not. I'm good. Yeah, just can't pronounce your name. Had to ask you that. How long have I known you? I've known you a long time, and I had to ask how to pronounce your name because I'm interviewing you in a little while. Chalk it up to being neurodivergent, right? Thank you. Thank you. All right, well, I don't know if either of you guys have watched any of the interviews I've done, but if anybody has any questions, you can pop them into the chat, and I can try not to squint. Maybe I should put some glasses on. That might help. 10 years, and I didn't know how to say your name till today because I had to ask. After 14 years of working with you, your editor finally did that. Well, maybe now I'm not so embarrassed. Well, whoa, whoa. Uh-oh. Oh, here, maybe I can just minimize this. How does this work? Keep this on top. Okay, so what's some fun stuff? I wrote to Stephen Bassett, who's a big in the disclosure department. And he started or he co-founded um the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance, which has several founding members, two founders, several founding members, um, both on the Hollywood side and on the UFO um, and science side. It would be great if you guys could go check that website out. I don't know if my bio is up there yet. My guest, David Altman, his bio's up there, along with a lot of other people. Some people of whom you've heard, other people maybe not so much. But I can tell you that Shirley MacLaine is on there. So, there you go. Lily's in good company. Website address. I'll put it in the chat. Is that good? I can do that. Look at me running my own studio. Like, really, I'm so sorry, but I'll get used to this. If I can do this by myself, then that's one more little fledging. www.hd. Uh-oh, move your little thumbnail. Move your little thumbnail. Hollywood Disclosure Alliance.org. I can say it and type it at the same time. And I can even cut it and paste it and put it right there. Yay. Travis Walton. I don't know. Anybody out there know Travis Walton and want to hook me up? There are people with whom I have chats, and they're very polite to even give me the time of day on Facebook. Oh, look at that. No, it's a mirror image. I'm pointing the wrong way because this is lagging. My YouTube lags from what my mouth is saying. All right. Sculpt an action figure of him. Yeah, turn Travis Walton into a franchise, I'm sure. Like if you could make a deal with him where you make that and he gets, 50% because no Travis, no doll. So that's a fair split in my mind, but hey, what do I know? Yeah, I would approach him. Like this guy who's dead now, named John Ferreter, he was a big manager. He always said things like, they're talking to someone, so you may as well call, because who knows if they'll pick up the phone when it rings and it's you. Everybody's talking to somebody. Unless they're really reclusive, and then they're really actively trying to talk to nobody, unless it's their idea. Rude. Hashtag rude. Yeah. Website bookmarked. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe it would be of interest for you to apply. I'm sure they would be very happy to consider you. There's definitely $150 donation that goes along with joining. And people who don't want to join and who just want to support can absolutely donate. I'm pretty sure there's a donate link on that website. But again, I wanted to thank Stephen Bassett for letting me in. Like there's a joke in there somewhere. Any club who would have me, I wouldn't want to be a member. But all right, well, good. Way to take action, and it's always you never know who may know him. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it does. I do want to say to Grizzly, who's probably not listening. His head's probably in the toilet. I hope it's not. I hope he's holding stuff down. He really wasn't well. So he went and canceled the live, like I said. So this is why I'm just sort of fumbling here, because I would rather try to stay consistent and babble at myself and monitor you two. You two, make sure you two are behaving yourself over there in the chat. See, now if I point that way, let's see what happens, because this is on a delay. Now I'm pointing at you. More rude things my mommy told me not to do, and I'm doing it anyway. Yeah, so aha, there it is. There it is. There's the pointing. I'm wondering how soon my audience is going to get sick of my pre and post production lives where I'm figuring stuff out. Stop pointing, Docker. Now I'm just going to have to say your name over and over and over. Oh, I should stop bending my head down. It's not pretty. Makeup, wardrobe, props. Where's everybody? They've abandoned me. Where's my crew? No crew. There's no crew. Crudité. I'm hungry. Free association. That's what I do. Neurodivergence. We rock. Oh, sheesh. So yeah, okay, so Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. Check. If you haven't subscribed, do it. And then you can hit that bell wherever that is. You can point somewhere. You can do that. Right? Neurodivergence unite. I say so. You know, if only the neurodivergents were in charge instead of the normies, the world might look a little different. It would be more fun, maybe a little repetitive for people who have to open and close the door a couple times, just as part of their. But you know, I'd rather repeat opening and closing doors than the repetition of the craziness that gets thumped at us through TV and film and all that stuff. That I really am so, pardon my French, hell bent on creating some kind of content that is geared to, like, I don't like that people think that the world is just full of a bunch of dummies. You know, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's that the conditioning and the programming has caused a disconnect, and it's not that the capacity isn't there. It's just that it's never occurred because generationally now we've got generations since the 40s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and the advertising, which has evolved, and the subliminal advertising, and the conditioning, and schools being a place where you learn how to conform and feel awkward if you do things differently. I mean, it's really the peer pressure to stay like everybody else is I can only imagine worse today. And then with all of the electronics and social media, and of course our friend AI, you know, and I say that with a little bit of a snark, but if AI is going to show up, there really needs to be in my opinion, something and some place where humanity and consciousness that is sentient and not accelerated by AI. I mean, consciousness assisted technology, I'm okay with, I think. I don't know enough about it, but technology that assists your consciousness is irksome to me in that that's not like the OG human being. Human being becomes trans human being, you know? And I watched a very interesting Sean Ryan episode where the guy who created Oculus, like at one point they start talking about, making bionic people, for lack of a better word, and that led me to an algorithm where there are these two guys in Kenya, like using household objects algorithm and the high school dropout guy, like who knows how to program, and they're making AI assisted limbs. I mean, people in Kenya, there's a high rate of limblessness. That's a rough area in which to live and to try to navigate. Like as much as everybody's in a tizzy that eggs now cost too much, like, how about some clean water, running water? People who don't you have to walk miles to get that every day. Like how much time does that take? Like there are still places on the planet where they don't have phones. These people hopefully will never turn transhuman. Like I don't know how quickly something could be introduced and then flip that like quickly or what, but um yeah, there's a difference between somebody who feels like they don't know how to draw using AI to give an artist reference, and there's absolutely a talent required to be able to use Photoshop and that kind of thing. Um, It's AI and quantum computing. It's so big. It's so big. It's so huge. And I don't think it's fully understood, which makes it potentially, I'm not saying it is, but everything's got the potential to become maybe antagonistic if it's programmed by arrogant people and then gets smarter faster and then starts making this. I mean, it's like CRISPR for AI. Like how do you cut out certain genes so that the AI like always is docile, right? Personality wise. So I'm not sure. I mean, I'm way in over my head with these comments, admittedly. So if there are any trolls out there, don't pick on me. I'm saying I do and I don't. From the standpoint of I like to draw with my hands and I use pencils that the same pencils I used in elementary school. I like being able to make my own stuff. There's a certain, of course, corporations use everything to their advantage to make us addicted to whatever it is they're selling us, which then gets antiquated and you have to buy the next one. So yeah, corporations, sorry, I mean this conversation that I'm having with myself is disjointed as I read the comments. But yeah, I mean, this is part of the whole disclosure thing is it's the private corporations that got greedy and crazy. Greedy and crazy. It's not necessarily the military that's doing anything wrong. It's the people who are creating all of this new fancy stuff that they get to use who are psycho, you know? Um, and it's like the Weezer song. You pull the string as you walk away and watch the sweater unravel. And that's the thing, and people have been saying, I even watched an old interview that my buddy David Adair did back in the 90s, and his delivery was a lot, and I think he was less comfortable in front of a camera at that point. But his delivery was very straight when it came to saying things like uh, Independence Day, I guess, had come out, and in his mind, the public was more open to hearing about things to do with disclosure, um, which was his cue to start talking a little bit, and more people have been doing that. But the idea that these private corporations, with the government's knowledge, not oversight, part of the government's knowledge, being driven by the contracts they have with this part of the government, to do really bad shit, you know? You've got this whistleblower, Jake Barber, who's, suffered radiation sickness and skin sloughing off of him. Like, that's not okay. Like, whoever hired him to do that, knowing that they were sending him into a heavily radiated area, and then he's just doing his job, and he comes home, and next thing is hair falls out, weird stuff on his skin, like. But his boss knew what they were sending him into, so how is that not murder? Or how's that not like attempted? Like, there's something wrong with that. And these people who have to live with themselves, if they're not the owners of the corporations, there's so many people do so many things. The Liane invasion. Good luck. Imagine if they cloned me and there were like 1 million of me and we all just went into a deep underground military base. All we would have to do would be to start talking. And they'd all go running out of there so fast because of everything that I was pummeling them with times 1 million. La, 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 la. The sound frequencies, uh, along with the information coming at them. They'd all run out of there fast. Make her stop, please. Make it stop. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. It's like, okay, well, tell us everything your bad boss made you do, and you won't get arrested, and we can go after them for treason. Because at what point does it become treasonous to not inform Congress what's going on? These guys are supposed to know everything and be controlling everything, But the world in DC is, everything's up in the air and nobody knows how anything's gonna fall. So that's a whole nother fun ride we're all on, which is all the more reason to, figure out how to start a meditation practice, even if you start for 20 seconds a day and expand. Goes back to whatever's going on between your ears and in your heart, what you're thinking and how you're feeling, and what motivates you to have your ego and your persona go do things in the world. That's the work. That's where you need to stay present and be present right now, always giving full attention to right now best we can. Like, all of those practices make it very difficult for the outside world to infiltrate and force some kind of entanglement into a very perverted, and I'm not saying that in a sexual way, I'm just saying that it's perverted. It's walked through the looking glass, Alice and everybody else is in Wonderland right now. That's what I feel like. So, the things you watch, what you allow information wise to penetrate. I like to keep a TV on with YouTube channels that keep going, like Greg Braden, John Peterson at the Arlington Institute. Love their talks. The quartet. My friend Frank Jacob has just been invited to be a part of the quartet, which is very exciting. I think if he has a second, he'll be talking to me here soon, which is very exciting because I've been a fan of his documentary work, Packing for Mars. I'll put that in the chat. Packing for Mars. I've watched that doc a couple times. I just really like the vibe, and I like how he unfolds the information. He's also got a bunch of webinars up. I don't have the links to those, but when I talk to him, I will absolutely put those in. And, if anybody's motivated to go find Frank, you can always Google or DuckDuckGo, because who knows how soon he's going to end up in the David Icke department and be banned, because the things he says really do not support the social engineering narrative and activity that's been going on and in the works since probably before some of the people listening right now were even born. And that's just fact. It's not conspiracy. It's facts. And if you know how to look for these things, you can find them online. It's the New Order of the Barbarians or the Order of the New Barbarians. It's just, you can find that book on Amazon still until they ban it, right along with Catcher in the Rye, right? Oh, the absurdity. Yeah, going to the gym. I mean, I had a cold last week and didn't do it and didn't do my exercises today. I really have to stop that or get back on the horse. But I actually clickbaited a couple years ago, and I'm very happy with the follow along workouts that are offered on the V Shred workouts. That guy, Vince, that beefcake baby face. Hi, I'm Vince, and I'm a big donut guy, and you don't have to do all these crazy workouts. Just pop some pills into okay, so I stopped popping the pills because as much as chromium is great and all the ingredients in the pills are fine, it did make me a little bit racy, and I clearly don't need that. I got enough energy. It kind of acted like Adderall, though. Did get a lot done when I was doing that. But yeah, so I'm happy with the workouts that are the follow along, which is 20 minutes Monday, Tuesday, 20 minutes Thursday, Friday. And in that 20 minutes, you do 3 exercises for 20 seconds each, and you do that 3 times. Then you move to the second set of exercises, which are 3 exercises, 20-second each. You do that 3 times with a minute break. So the whole thing takes about 20 minutes, and I'm telling you, it works, man. It's not like it's excessive. And if you want to really double down, long walks at a really brisk pace. I walk at about 3.4 miles an hour, says my appendage when I put the health app on and monitor it. So yeah, that's moving around, keeping your vessel healthy is definitely important. But letting your vessel tell you what to do, unless you're craving something that's not bad for you, then most of the time we try to listen to our body. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. This is fun. Vanilla Dick, you're live on the air. Is there anything you care to share with my audience? He's gonna.
I'll talk to you later on.
How to get a man off the phone. Notice I ended that sentence with the phone, because that's not what we're doing. So I'll have to call Vanilla Dick back when I'm done here. So yeah. Uh-oh. Just got to really hang up the phone for real this time. What a loosey-goosey live. Answering phones. Wonder if we could make prank phone calls. I could go like Jerky Boys on the world right now. No, I won't do that. Yeah, I have that little thing in the Aliens Are Here of a lizard holding a sign that says David Icke isn't or wasn't wrong. And it was a placeholder originally, but I left it there because it's too good. So if anybody ever watches this or that and wants to claim that they created that, by all means, I'm happy to give you credit. And if you don't like it in my video, I'll be sad, but I'll take it out. You just got to come find me and tell me. I'm pretty easy. Yeah, David Icke, man. I wish I could talk to that guy. I wish I could talk to that guy. I'm sure a lot of people do. Yeah, the mute button. It's good for something. It's good for my million clones. Maybe they don't have a mute button. And those people in the deep underground military bases for the Liane times a million invasion. Can you imagine that though? Oof. Oof. John Todd revealed things that truthers laughed at until it was uncovered that what he said was true. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's usually the way. Ridiculed or murdered. Waterworked. If they think people are actually listening to you, they'll unalive you. It's true. I don't know what YouTube the YouTube regulations and rules. I don't know if I'll get dinged for saying that out loud. The Liane invasion. Your next book? Yeah, man. But if you base it on me cloning myself a million times and making the world bend over because I won't shut up until it does, that's a pretty horrific situation right there. Definitely a horror movie. Could be a thriller. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's a thriller horror comedy. Dramedy. Dromedary has one hump. Camel has 5. What? Cows have 5 stomachs. But I don't. Don't ever call me a cow. I only have 1 stomach. So, yeah. Oh my God, if anybody watches this that I've asked to be a guest, they're gonna come back and tell me their calendar's full for the next million years. Sorry. Sorry, lady. Thriller, horror, satire, reality show. Oh man. You know, there's always the road trip show that we can do. Who's we? You and your million clones that you're going to stuff into a minivan and drive. Talk to yourself all the way to LA. Talk about riding the frequency. Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's President's Day here in the United States. My computer just reminded me. Valentine's Day the other day, President's Day today, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all the days, Christmas Day, Consumer Day, buy this day, buy that day, buy, you need the next and in the no, you don't. Really, you don't. It's exhausting. I'll be grateful when she shows up and walks in on the press conference. Like they kicked the Associated Press out. Maybe they'll let her. She says she's a galactic reporter. Family Day in oh, Canada. Yeah, it is. What if he showed up on the White House lawn? What would happen? They'd say, "Are you made out of an 8-point geometrical shape?" I don't know that they know how to say that word, geometry. Geometrical. That's a pretty big word for the White House. Maybe this lady. Maybe you can walk through her Stargate in her forehead. I'm trying to figure out how to load my store with all these things so people can actually buy magnets and I can mail them out and people can put some Liane on their walls. Not the kind of Liane that the forensic team has to come identify. Come on. Get your brains out of the thriller, horror, satire. We're not talking about that anymore. Although I think my life is a thriller, horror, satire, musical. Thank you, David. Appreciate the kind words. I have a lot of stuff I'm working on. I got a bunch of unfinished stuff in the other room. I'm not like you. I'm not a juggernaut like you. Otherwise, I'd have as many books as you do. I'm telling you, this guy who's in this, I have very interesting ways of phrasing all kinds of things, but then I forget what I said, so I have no idea what you're talking about right now. It's a problem with stream of consciousness, man. It comes in, it goes out, and then it doesn't come back. But I guess that's the point, right? A flowing stream that doesn't flow back into itself. Good. Cool. Go paint. Painting is fun. Like, it's the one place you can't really make mistakes is in art. It's the other good news about doing art. There is no way to mess it up unless you're judging yourself. But that's not what we're supposed to do. Art, it's not about self-judgment. I am the modernist period of literature in human form. I guess I'm like a living, breathing audio book that doesn't shut up. I even talk in my sleep. Happy accidents are the best kind. Got one of the staff here. He's the porter. His name is Joseph. His dad was the doorman for God, like 30 years here, watched me grow up, and recently retired. And then his son came and is the porter and is the doorman on Thursdays. So I guess I just so happened to be shooting my Aliens Are Here video while Joseph was working. And as I came in from shooting at the store across the street, which I'm glad I shot there because after 5 decades, they finally shut down. So I've got a Upper West Side, um, Upper West Side gem that no longer exists for posterity's sake in my crazy video. Anyway, Joseph was there, and so he played the doorman that allows the aliens to come up to the apartment. I love Joseph. But every time I walk time I walk into the lobby when he sees me, it's Liane Curtis. So one of these days I'm gonna make him come in here and record that. Because I think there's probably a use for him doing that somewhere. More satire. That was a really long way of saying absolutely nothing. Wee. But yeah, Joseph is cool. The other day, he's like, "How you doing?" Well, what did he say to me? He said, "I think you have a package." And I just looked at him. I said, "I am the package." And then he looked at the doorman and said, "Did you hear what she just said? Like, what is wrong with her?" I said, "What is right with me? What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with me. Told you I am the package." He said, "See, she just did it again. What is wrong with you?" This guy's so funny. He's like a little brother that I don't have, poking fun at each other all the time. Sarah, the staff in this apartment building, because my mom moved in here with me when I was 13, it's like a weird little family outside the door. Thank God. It's like another more false sense of insulation and safety, which really isn't false. Like these guys are great. They're very good. I appreciate every single one of them. Characteristics of modernist literature. Is my picture in there? I could do that. I'll scroll, and there better be a picture of me there, David, or we're through. Just very sad. No, I won't. I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm sure I'm forgetting something. As soon as I say bye, I'm gonna go now. I'll remember what it was. Shout out to my daughter, Jack, little Miss Jack. I know I said this last week, but when she came here and she helped me shoot that music video, it came out really, really, really well. So it's got a bunch of views. And that's on the Lady Liane. Yeah, see, exactly. I moved in here when I was 13 and I'm going to be 60, so it's about the same. There's something comforting about living in your family home, even though it's not full of life like it was. You know, when I was little, my mom would have these dinner parties and her friends would come over and they were always, all those guys were all on Broadway shows or musicians or writers. They were all super smart like she was. And literally, it didn't matter if there were two people visiting, one person, somebody would always sit down at the piano and start playing music. I lived a very eclectic, upscale childhood, and it's that right there is probably what allows me to seem a lot more well educated than I actually am. um, that I really appreciate everything with which I was surrounded either advertently or inadvertently. So much. I have so much gratitude for from where I come. Um, like it wasn't always like that, you know, just that whole teenage thing. And you got the mother-daughter dynamic stuff that I went through with my mom. And I held tight to that nonsense for probably way too long. I could have dumped that a little bit sooner, probably. But all in all, my mom was probably my biggest fan, and I miss her like crazy a lot. Anyway, so that's kind of cool. I got a little thing. One of the things my mom did when she was younger was dub the voice of the role of Emmanuel in that kind of soft porn movie series, Emmanuel. So I got this weird Insta message saying, check your emails. Okay, so I checked my emails, and I guess they're sending a mini crew over here to interview me about my mom. And I have no idea what they're going to ask. I don't even know what what I could possibly tell them, because I wasn't paying attention. In 1972, I was 7 years old. So, you know, if my mom was out dubbing the role of Emmanuel in the studio, she was just at the studio working, and I wasn't really, you know, I went in and out of the studio a lot, the dubbing studio, when I was little, and got to meet a lot of really cool people. Ingmar Bergman, Liv Ullmann, Sophia Loren, Marcello Mastrani, a lot of people that were foreign, famous people. And a lot of people here who ended up being famous worked with my mom when they were young and needed groceries, and no one had ever heard of them. Victor Garber, Don Scardino. It's turning into like the name dropping thing, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that I could probably talk about if triggered to, like I just was. I feel like if I don't talk about it, it'll just all get lost, because I don't know that my kids really care or assign any importance to it, you know. But I'd like to try to make sure all the information is available to the public. If the progeny don't care, maybe somebody out there values people's life stories and little anecdotes of things that happened along the way. Yeah. Are you an only child, Carius? I'm an only child. Both my parents were only children, so I don't have any aunts. I don't have any uncles. I've got a few second cousins sprinkled around out there from my mom, and then I've got some other cousins on my dad's side that I never even knew about till my adulthood. Oh, good. We can talk about that later. But yeah, so I know what that's like. So if you're an only child and all you've got is your mom, it's very much I don't know if you're familiar with an artist named Helen Reddy. She had a song called You and Me Against the World. Like it really was kind of like that. And my mom fiercely protected me to the point where this is part of why I wanted to knock her out half the time. Because I was just, you know, she's this meek, oh, I would never cold call anybody. It's rude. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just pick up the damn phone. You know, she likes her meat very tender. And I'm like, oh, where's the chewy stuff? I like that. My mom just did not. She understood that she didn't get me at all. You know, but she loved me, and it was very, very unconditional, even though she was controlling it. I don't know. We went and saw a shrink once, and he said, you know, you guys are like a couple of tangled assholes. And I just looked at him. I was like, yeah, yeah, uh-huh. It definitely stopped us from our henpecking at each other for 2 seconds. Then we turned around and looked at him. It's like out of scene out of a thing. What do you mean? And then instead of yelling at each other, we both turn around and yell at him. No, we didn't do that. Because he was right. You know, the entanglement and tangling was real and deep. So yeah, it was actually a privilege and an honor to come back here to ground zero and take care of her. It forced me to self-realize. It forced me to deal with my shit. It forced me to look at myself. It's the thing that most people don't want to do, you know. But all of that has allowed me to get to a place where I'm better at articulating. I'm more comfortable in my own skin. I'm more confident in conversations. I know how to be accountable for my state of being and not blame others for whatever I'm doing. Because ultimately my choice is what got me here, whatever that choice was, whether it was 5 minutes ago or 25 years ago. You know, but that's it. We expand, we have experience. We try to be the best version of ourselves we can be. And if it doesn't work, we don't beat ourselves up. We wake up tomorrow and try again. And that's it. You know? Michael is barking at you. That's the cutest little Yorkie ever. Michael. Michael the Yorkie. All right. Michael wants his food. I need a little bit of a break. I need to go check on my birds and make sure they have food. Thank you for hanging with me for the last hour-ish. And we'll see you again next week on Riding the Frequency. And till then, remember, you're the awareness. And yeah, try to love yourselves.